Well, good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Jacqueline King. And as promised, we have the amazing, I lovingly call him my big brother because I've learned a lot from him, and he just is just near and dear to my heart. How you doing, Dr. Knowles?
It's so good to see you, Dr. King.
It,
I've been thinking about you lately, hoping you're okay. We probably have gone the longest in the last, I don't know, 5 months of not talking as much as we have in 3, 4 years.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I miss you too. So I know you be busy, but you can pick up the phone and call me. And I can pick up the phone and call you.
It works both ways. Yes, it
Yes.
does.
So I wasn't gonna get up under that bus because I know you're witty. But anyway, I'm so glad that you're here and that we've been anxiously awaiting to talk to you. You have had a stellar year, not just because of your brilliant daughters, but because you are living your best life.
I
You
am. First and foremost, I feel good. My health is good. Because when we travel so much, Gina and I, it's real hard for me once I get in hotels and to exercise and even to stay on my diet, quite frankly. But I'm
Mhm.
glad to be home. I will be home for a couple of months. I worked out today. I'm back to my 2 miles walk, 2 mile walk in 45 minutes. So I feel really good and really excited about talking to you today. I don't normally get this level of excitement, but I'm really excited
Oh, oh, you
to,
make me
to,
feel so
to
good.
talk to you and talk to your viewers and let's just have a conversation.
Well, I've been thinking about what I was going to ask you because it's not my first interview that I've done with you, and I reflect on things that we've talked about, and so I know you come from your parents were amazing people, and you came from very humble beginnings, but they had work ethics, and so they passed that on to you, and you passed it on to your girls, and you and Miss Tina did an amazing job. I mean, what are the chances you're going to have two celebrity daughters? Uh,
Yeah. You
but
know,
but you,
um, Dr. King, I dedicated this month. This is Women's History Month. Um, and so I've really dedicated. And surprisingly, if you go on my social media, you begin to see, and already I put up my mother, got 5,000 comments. People that know
I know I saw
my
that.
side of the family, and I'll be putting up my aunt, who has an amazing story. But on both sides of my family, my grandfather was first generation entrepreneur. My mother was an entrepreneur. I'm third generation. My kids are fourth generation. I had a long conversation with Jules, my grandson, who I'm so proud of, that he's now officially a professional model.
I
Uh,
saw that too.
and out of the box, he got New York, and then he got Milan last week, a couple of weeks ago, and he'll be in Paris a couple of weeks, a month from now. He's doing phenomenal to start out at that level. So we look at my father's side. My grandfather was a entrepreneur. My grandmother was an entrepreneur. So we had very educated on my dad's side, very educated. My aunt went to college literally at 16, and very accomplished. Like for example, John Glenn, when he landed in the ocean, that was my uncle in the Navy that went out and opened a hatch, swam and saved him. That's the kind of family I come from, with that kind of
Wow, wow, that's amazing. Yeah. So I mean, so it's really in you. Entrepreneurship is in you. So I know. How do you? I mean, I know that you're a hard worker. You're a smart man. Your girls, I know you talked to me. You said that if they had whatever they wanted to be, you let them flourish in what they want. You didn't force it, right?
Never. And I think that's a mistake that parents make when they say, my kid's going to be this. That's a huge mistake because I teach a lot of those kids that were frustrated, tried to do what their parents wanted them to do when some of them really wanted to be in the music industry. And a lot of parents are like, you're never going to do that. And so they tried it their parents' way. It's most of the time, Dr. King, it never works out when you force someone to do something that's not their passion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always say if you find your passion, you're going to find your purpose, right?
Right.
And you always say that if you're having fun, I'm trying to think of how you say the quote.
I always say if you live your passion, you never work a day in your life.
That's what it is. I couldn't remember that quote.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of it. Yeah, and that's a fact. So you're living your best life. And so what I really love about you is that, and you and I are both, we sort of retired.
No, I'm not. I can't.
Well, you are. Okay. So what I mean is you don't work for anybody. Let's put it.
Well, I haven't done that for like 30 years.
Well, I haven't done it for 30 years, but we pretty much do our own thing, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And the thing I love is that you have made a decision because you've done everything. You've had the gospel recording label. You've had what? I don't know. You managed Destiny's Child. You sold equipment. Was it medical equipment?
Yeah, and that's the thing where we are, and I'm glad you brought that up, Dr. King, because I realized probably about 6, 7 months ago that the messaging about my legacy and my story was getting confused.
Mm-hmm.
People really didn't know. They know me as Destiny's Child's manager, Solange and Beyonce's father, but they don't really know a lot of things that I've done in my lifetime. Most people don't know, as you were saying, I sold zero radiography with Xerox in the medical division, which was the leading modality in the 80s for breast cancer. I was the first Black to sell MRI and CT scanners in America with Philips Medical Systems. I ended my corporate career with Johnson & Johnson as a neurosurgical specialist. That's kind of different. Most people don't, live that kind of corporate life in sales and marketing and having the opportunity to be the #1 sales rep in the world for Xerox Medical. Most people don't know in the music industry that I managed Nas, that I made 5 young Black men in 2002. They were all in their late 20s, early 30s. They were artist managers. They were Black, and I bought their companies. And so as a result of that, I had Ken Du Isaac, who managed Mary J. Blige, eventually married her. Had a young man out in LA and Dr. Irvin, Dr. J, rather, his son, Julius Irvin III. They had Eve. I had a young man in St. Louis that managed Nelly. I had Demet Guidry in Atlanta that managed Mary. And on the management side, we had Mario and obviously Destiny Child and all the ladies individually. But most people don't know on the record label side, we made the last OJ's albums, Earth, Wind and Fire, Kool and the Gang, De La Soul. Most people don't know that. They just know Beyonce. And as you said, very grateful. A Black man built the #1 gospel label when I partnered with BET Sunday Best for 4 seasons. Most people don't know that. So I learned a long time ago, most people don't know that, we were fortunate. I don't like to use the word I, but I'm going to have to start using it more. I architect the career of Beyonce. People don't realize I managed her for 22 years. Her first 3 albums, she's only done 6. The first 3 were on my label, and I was her manager. And so that's getting lost. I'm hearing a whole lot of people take credit for Beyonce's career. That's not true. A lot of
But
people.
that's hard to do. I mean,
Yeah.
because first of all, you and Miss Tina had these brilliant girls. First of all, I was talking to someone the other day, and I said that, your kids, for the most part, follow your work ethics. They follow, if you sit home and you don't do anything, there's a good chance that your kids are not going to do anything too. You
Mhm.
and Miss Tina had the beauty salon. A lot of people probably don't know that, right? And you
Yeah,
took
I had to correct TMZ the other day about the hair salon. They were questioning the new product that Beyonce and Tina are coming out with, Sacred, and they were saying, well, do they have is this authentic? I was like, what are you talking about? We had the largest hair salon in Houston for 17 years. Beyonce was there a lot. Like, I think that's pretty authentic. Yeah, people don't know about House of Darion. That our family, me, Beyonce, and Tina put together House of Darion, and I was the chief marketing officer. Most people don't know I've sold Music World twice. I sold it in 2002 for 10 million and 30 million in stock, the management part, and then I sold it 3 years ago for over 10 million. A lot of people don't know that. So that's why we're preparing, writing the script for the Mathew Knowles story. It's not going to be like King Richard. My life was not all about my kids. As a father, yes, but as a businessman. But my story really starts growing up as a young kid, first grade, never going to a black school and getting beaten and spit on and electric prodded through junior high, elementary, University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, paying that price as a young black man, as a child, and that grew into a young black man in civil rights. That's where my story really starts. And some of the challenges of that, some of the positive things came out of it, a lot of negative things that required me to go to therapy for years.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the trauma, and your books, as a matter of fact. So I will let them know that they can go to the directory, which is on the top of the screen, and they can purchase your books and they can book you to speak. We're going to talk more about that in a few minutes. But also, so now they've coined it girl dad. And back then they didn't have it. That's the buzzword now, a girl dad. How was it to be a girl?
I've never heard that before. That's
Oh,
the first. This is the first time in my life I've ever heard that. It's called girl dad.
girl dad. Yeah.
I've
So
never heard that before.
it's well, because that you're not on social media.
Yeah.
But
Well, I am. I am. You're wrong about that, Dr. King.
oh, okay.
I'm
I thought you
always.
said you did.
That's
Okay.
me commenting on LinkedIn.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's me writing a lot of my
okay.
posts.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, girl dad is like now for the dads who have girls, and like I don't know where it came from, but that's a buzz now. So how was it being a girl dad? Because I know that most girls, they tend to gravitate to their dad. So how was that?
Yeah. Well, have you ever heard on Beyonce's third album, she has a song called Daddy?
No.
You should listen to that. All of you should listen to it. And the chorus of it is, I want to marry someone just like my daddy. Uh, and I think she did. I think, Jay-Z is a wonderful man, extremely smart and brilliant in business, and also brilliant as a rapper. So, growing up, because Tina was working at the hair salon, and as ladies know, Friday and Saturdays are your biggest days. So, I had to play the role of taking the girls to dance lesson and skating and all the things. The little girls come over to the house, want to get on the little slide thing outside. When Beyonce was very young, 4 or 5, I had a bicycle I had retrofitted so she could sit on the front of my handlebars. And most of the time when you saw me on the weekend, she was with me. So I was very proud of her and Solange. Both of them are just phenomenal women. And, I posted yesterday or 2 days ago on Solange. It's now gotten 8,000 views, and just wanted to congratulate her for her creativity, because she chose not to walk in her sister's shoes whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And she's done everything from furniture design to glass, whatever you call that, with the glass, you mold the shapes of it, to apparel. She does way more than just music. And she's a great storyteller.
I'm telling you, you're a blessed man, and your grandchildren are following right in the footsteps. First of all, yes, congratulations to both Beyonce and Solange, because they are both brilliant. So and then the baby, I say the baby, she ain't no baby anymore. Blue Ivy, man, she is doing it. I read that she was in the top 10 richest children in the world.
Well, I don't know about that.
That's what they said.
And mostly of what I read, I don't believe.
Okay.
But I can tell you what I'm proud of, and how this all came about. And on Beyonce's movie, I actually interviewed. Some people have this crazy idea that me and Beyonce don't talk. We talk a lot. But Blue Ivy was just going to do like a minute or so on the stage. It was going to be fun. But she had one of her friends, and their parents were certainly with her, but they traveled with her throughout the whole tour. And when Blue Ivy went on the first show, it was her first time. So, the first time, like anyone's first time. It wasn't the very best, because it was the first time. But the little girl, I say little girl, I think she was 11, 12 years old. She went on social media and said how awful that Blue Ivy did.
Mm.
And Blue Ivy is a Knowles. And you don't tell a Knowles, and you don't challenge a Knowles and tell them how poorly they did, because they're going to put in the work. We're going to put in the work to make it better. And that's exactly what she did. The next thing I knew, when I went to London backstage, I was like, where's Blue Ivy? Well, she's in there practicing. And she just got better and better and better. And she will continue. She's not even close to the potential, because, my belief, based on Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers, to be great at something, 10,000 hours, which if you dedicated 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, it would take you somewhere between 5 to 6 years to become great at something. But most people don't have the opportunity to dedicate that much time to one thing. It might take them 10 years instead of 5.